In example 2, we are using the definition of a Taylor polynomial to find an approximation. So we're looking for the polynomial in the Taylor series for cosine, and we're centering it at pi. All right, so f of x, we have cosine. If we take the derivative of cosine, we end up with negative sign. Take the derivative of negative sign, we end up with negative cosine. So I like to list off I know how far we're going, so I like to list off that many derivatives first. And then derivative of negative cosine is sine. And derivative of that would be cosine. Alright, now we are evaluating at pi. So pi, cosine of pi would be, so think about this, we're at pi. Pi is the same thing as 180. Cosine of 180 is negative 1. And then we're evaluating sine at pi. Sine at pi is 0, so negative 0, just 0. Negative cosine of pi, so cosine of pi we just said was negative 1, but we're taking the opposite of that. So we get positive 1, and then sine of pi we just said was 0, and cosine of pi is back to negative 1. Okay, so we're going to go in this pattern because we know the derivative of sine or cosine goes in a pattern. So now we can write out this polynomial. We have a 4th degree Taylor polynomial, and the first term would be that negative 1. Okay, so we're looking at that pattern there. So remember, go back, look at your pattern for your Taylor. So we have the function evaluated at your center. We have derivative, and then times x minus c. So this is a little different from the first example because we have to subtract that value. Okay, so we're going to go plus, so 0 times x minus our center. So I'm just going to write this out in the pattern. I know this would cancel out. And then the next one would be a plus 1 times x minus pi. And we have to take that quantity and square it. So 0th term, first term, second term, we have to have that 2. And then we know that's over 2 factorial. And then the next one would be 0 x minus pi cubed over 3 factorial. The next one would be that negative. So we have minus 1 times x minus, oops. Okay, to the 4th all over. Alright, so 4th degree Taylor, that's where we're at. And now we can write this out. The function, we can write it simplified. So negative 1 plus x minus pi, quantity squared, over 2. Okay, that one's canceling, and then we're left with x minus pi to the 4th all over. So 2 times 3 is 6, 4 factorial is 24. So now it says use Taylor polynomial for from example 2 to approximate cosine of 3. So we have to take our value here, our polynomial. We're going to plug in 3 for x. We're going to see what we get. We could leave these as factorials if you wanted to, or expand them and write them out. So let's see what this is. We get a -1 plus okay, so we should end up with an approximate value of -0.98999. Okay, so if you typed cosine into your calculator, cosine equals this value. Alright, I'm going to stop and I'll do another video for the next couple examples.